So, all right. So let's start. All right. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the podcast masterclass. We all know what a podcast is. It's an audio form. Some people have video podcasts, but now people don't really do video podcasts anymore. They just move their podcasts to YouTube. So we're going to look at three phases of this. Before you launch your podcast, the tools and software you're going to use for your podcast, and you have to market the podcast so that people know that you have a podcast that exists. So we'll start with why. It's important that you know the why because it takes work to push your podcast. It takes a bit of work to push your podcast. It's like every time you want to launch a rocket, you have to put some force, some momentum for it to go. So you want to start by asking yourself, so why do I want to do a podcast? Is it to generate leads? Is it to grow my personal brand? Is it because I have a strong message? Is it to sell a product? May I know, why do you want to do a podcast? Anybody here? I'll start with mine. I'm doing it to generate leads. I'm doing it to push my personal brand so that, because if people get to know about the personal brand, it gives me jobs. I'm also doing it to increase revenue. I didn't add that here now. Because I get to advertise people's products and services on my podcast. So it's always good to be clear about the why. Is it to just tell stories? And it's fine. There's no judgment in it. There is no reason that is a bad reason. Did you get that? So I'll start with you. Our beautiful sister here, Answer. Answer, why do you want to start a podcast?
I've thought of so many reasons, but basically I enjoy speaking and I enjoy twisting stories. I'm also very good there. And there's something that has bothered me for a while, my native language. It's going extinct. Strangely, I want to do this podcast in place. There's a whole community that is hungry for the mother tongue, and it's not.
Fantastic.
It's dying. The Efik language. I'm not talking about Akwa Ibom, which everybody talk. Most people speak Akwa Ibom, but hardcore Efik is gone. I've done a few news. I sent one to you. I've done a few others, and the responses have been amazing.
Phenomenal.
So I know that's a gap. Yes, that's a gap. I want to fill that gap. It's I've looked around who's doing it. I've not seen anybody doing it. I've done my research, and I feel that I can own that space.
Okay.
There's a lot I can do, but this is where I want to be right now.
Great, beautiful. King Bath, why do you want to do a podcast?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, first of all, is to generate lead actually, because I really want to use every available resources.
Dr. Lide, it's like you're in a busy place. There's some noise in your background. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. King Bath, go ahead. Why do you want to do a podcast?
All right, I was saying is primarily to generate lead for my business and for my personal brand. Yeah, because I really want to leverage every resources for lead generation.
Very good.
And I also feel that it's
okay. King Bath. All right, Dr. Lide, go ahead. Why do you want to do a podcast? Dr. Lide, can you hear me? King Bath.
I can hear you.
Yeah, so why do you want to do a podcast, Dr. Lide? Why?
Okay, yeah, why I want to do a podcast is I discovered that one of the basic ways I started to learn was through listening to people. Like I would play Awaken the Giant.
Tony Robbins, yeah.
Tony Robbins, I would play his audio tape when I was in university. I'll be listening to it. It's just his voice I'm listening to, audio tape. And I feel that strong connection just listening to people. And to me, it looks like podcast. You may not call it podcast, but I'm listening to his voice.
Yeah.
And
and it shaped your behavior. King Bat, continue. Why do you want to do a podcast? Hello, Bobo, your son. Hi.
All right. So, like I was saying, first of all, is to generate lead for my personal brand, for my business, and then secondly, I feel that when people hear your voice, they intend to listen to your message more, because our generation now is more like an instant generation. They just want to hear it, and most times if you put it in a book, a lot of people might not read it, but they will just prefer the one they can maybe plug their headset or something and just listen to it, maybe while they drive to work or while they do other things. And I believe it's a very powerful channel to communicate my message to my prospects and my clients.
Very good, very good. Dr. Laide, again, why do you want to do a podcast, Dr. Laide?
Yeah, okay. So why I want to do a podcast is, as I mentioned, how I started learning was from the great Tony Robbins. Yeah, and I've even listening to some powerful guys like Stephen Covey.
Yeah, great man, great man.
Stephen R. Covey, 7 Habits of
Highly effective people, yeah.
So I found out that those listening to them, their voice alone, I was not even seeing their face then. That was how I learned so much in the early stages of me learning personal development. I used to go to this Okwawo bookshop then.
Yes. Latana.
Latana, yeah.
Yeah.
Latana.
Yeah.
There's one again in this City Mall. There's one shop there.
Yes.
Wow, I bought a lot of audiobooks then. I'll put it in my Walkman. So
and listen.
Yeah, so when I look at those memories, it now lets me understand that, wow, this was how I learned initially, long before I even started this journey that I'm now. Right now, like I'm into real estate. I didn't even know that I was going to have a career into real estate. Then, that was just when I was in university. Still just, I didn't even know what I wanted to do, whether I was going to be a doctor. I didn't even know what I want. But now, it was you that now even brought it back to my attention about it. In your listening to your morning ginger, and even notice that your morning ginger is majorly audio. It's majorly audio.
It's not major. It's only audio, really.
Only audio. So wow, and I really need to. I really want to learn that part of the audio, because my major strength as a thought leader is majorly writing. I found out that's my major medium. So that's why I really want to learn this podcast, and because a lot of people have told me that why can't I do something like that, audio, videos, and all that. So that's to take my brand to the next level. Yeah.
Fantastic. Because it's always good to know why you want to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Because of course you will find days where you don't want to publish an episode. You will find days where you don't feel like doing it. Yes. Yeah. It's all the same principles of being consistent. One of the biggest podcasts in the UK is a podcast called The Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. There's something he said, very powerful, very big. He used to be an entrepreneur, sold his business for millions of pounds. He said when he was doing his podcast sporadically, it wasn't growing. The moment he stuck with a time frame twice a week, he saw the graph going up like this. So is that knowing your why? The possibilities are endless. Well, this is a 3 days class, so after this class, we will all agree when we meet again for the next one. Now, big men did this class. Don't go rush now. Good. What is the name that you will give to your podcast? Have you thought about it? So let me give you some frameworks of the podcast names. You can call your podcast by your name. The Paul Fu Podcast, the Tim Ferriss Show, the Joe Rogan Experience. All those are podcast names. You can name your podcast by your name. You can also name your podcast by your industry name / your personal name. Real Estate Today with Dr. Olaide. It is him.
I dey see am.
I don't understand, you know. I don't know. Fashionpreneur today with answer. I don't know. Cryptocurrency today with King Bath. I don't know. Just pick a name. Works for you. You can also name your podcast by topic. Amy Porterfield calls it marketing class with Amy Porterfield. Marketing. That's a topic. It can just be real estate. Whatever. So let me ask you, have you thought about a podcast name? And you can change it to, my first podcast was called Conversations with Paul Fu. I said this thing doesn't go anywhere. It's not an industry name. It's not what is conversations. I just change them to why did I change it? I was modeling myself after Tim Ferriss has the second largest podcast in the world. The biggest podcast in the world is by Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has the largest podcast in the world. It's called the Joe Rogan Experience. I'll show you his picture now. Spotify paid him $100 million to have exclusive rights to his podcast. That's $100 million. That's 700. Nah. Hell! Just to hear your voice. That time your auntie goes say, I believe I can talk too. So now, and let me say what you answer. Have you thought about the name for your podcast?
I have two names.
Okay.
And just because I want to sample them, Answers Potpourri.
Okay.
Because initially I thought this would be, I love to write, and I write a lot. I'm constantly writing, and sometimes when my friends read my write-ups, they say it's like they're having a conversation with me, And I thought, okay, maybe this should be an opportunity to, before I thought of doing the purely ethic, just because it's groundbreaking for me, and it's something I know it's not been done. It's be a gradual creep, but I know where I'm going with that. And then I thought of something in my local dialect. Mbungpontere is like the events that are happening. It's an ethic sentence.
Okay.
Mbungpontere is like saying these are the events happening. And I was wondering how that would be, that's going to target just a specific crowd. But I also know that a lot of people will have interest in, learning languages, and my language is really pretty. And, so that's me. What's happening? It's like, I'll have it there, then a little subtitle. So I just thought to sample those two. Okay.
All right. So how do you marry these two? Let's all think together with her. Then we'll go to yours, everybody's own itself. So, because Answer, I realize that some of the biggest podcasts, they just tell stories. Those ones are very powerful, because you can write. It's not you that said it. You have a friend that I know that told me that, look, Paul, this my friend can write. You get me? Good. So there are some podcasts, they just read like crime stories. One of the the third largest podcast in the world is a crime story. They tell story. Yes. And then with serious music in the background. So you can do that. So I'm saying that since you have a love for writing and you also want to push the ethic thing, the question is, how do you marry both so that you have exactly. So sometimes you get into the ethic vibe, and sometimes you get into, maybe you want to write about something or talk about something else, so that you're not, because if you follow only the ethic line, I'm saying to myself, do you think you will have enough content for a whole year on your ethic language? But what if you have combined it
with English?
So you have both worlds at the same time. Don't worry, you will look for an example of someone who's doing something like that. We'll get there. King Bath, what do you want to call your podcast? Iresi, welcome.
Thank you, Coach. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Iresi. King Bath, Dr. Laide, what do you want to call your podcast? You want to call it? You want to have a personal name for your podcast, an industry name, or a topical name? Answer. Do you know why I call my podcast the Paul Fo Podcast?
Because it's a brand.
Good. No, so that I don't box myself. Because I don't only talk about sales in these things. And the second reason is because my podcast format, I'll talk about my format later. My podcast format is both solo and interview. Did you get that now? Aha. So I can interview somebody who had an injury just to inspire somebody. So, but if I call it sales with Paul Fo, it's kind of. Did you get that? Aha. So Joe Rogan calls his podcast the Joe Rogan Experience. Tim Ferriss calls his podcast the Tim Ferriss Podcast. All right. So you want to say to yourself, what name can I call it? This encapsulates my essence. Since you want to good. So this potpourri you can, because you like your ethic language, you want to say today I want to interview an ethic professor on my podcast today. So let's talk about language and the fading away of certain language, especially the ethic language in Nigeria. I don't know. So potpourri is fine with.
Okay.
I don't know what you want to call it. Dr. Laide, what name do you want to call your podcast? Have you thought about it? Have you thought about a name?
I've not thought about.
It's fine. Don't rush it. Do not rush it. I can pull up the name of my old podcast. It's called Conversations with Paul Fo. I said this one will go anywhere. I just cancel like, break. Did you get that? Aha. Because I see that I want to build a media business. So I just call it the Paul Fo Podcast. So it's broad. It's broad. I can interview Dr. Laide tomorrow on my podcast. And I'm going to interview all of you who are on my podcast. How you went from being a doctor to becoming a real estate person. Share your experience. And of course, as I'm interviewing the person, no matter the profession the person is, I will always link it to my true essence, which is sales. Did you get that? I will find a way to squeeze it in. Did you get that? Your essence will always come through. Ireti, welcome. Can you hear me?
Coach, I can hear you, yes.
So let me just backtrack it. Let me just backtrack a little bit because you just showed up. We've not gone far, yeah. So these are the three things we'll cover in the 3 sessions. We have, before you launch your podcast, module 1, tools/software module 2, and then how to market the podcast so that people hear about it. Then we ask questions like, why do you want to do a podcast? So quickly tell us, what's your why? Is it to generate leads? Is it to grow your personal brand? Is it because you have a strong message? Like Answer says, she has a strong message. Our native dialect is gradually going to extinct. She wants to resurrect that. And also to push our brand. Is it to sell a product? Is it to make money from advertisement? Why do you want to do a podcast? Mine is to generate leads, to grow my personal brand. In fact, all of them now on. All of them. Yeah. So you got to find your why. So Eriti, why do you think you want to do a podcast?
To be honest with you, it's to influence, to impact.
Fantastic. And
And
there's no
yes, and my area of concentration was always on young people, especially boys. I just kind of feel the need to inspire I think inspire is the word. I was going to say instill, but I think the word is inspire these young men. You know, I mean, there's a lot of young men, maybe because of the kind of work I do. I meet them a lot who are out there just running on the streets. Every street you go, there's a young man who has a box of gala or a box of water on his head, running up and down.
They are here too. They are here too. Running up and down here too.
Yeah, they can do more.
Yeah.
They can do more. And they just kind of feel that they can't. You know, they just see Lagbaja doing it and they follow Lagbaja. It's not like as if they have any idea that that's what they want to do. They haven't even thought about it.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
so
that's your reason why.
That's it. And I want to do it from the point of view of King David, because David was a shepherd boy. Nobody knew, he was like forgotten.
Okay,
So I want to
fantastic.
pick from that. Yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. All right, good. So now we are in the name. What name have you thought about the name? If you have not thought about the name, no pressure. We are going to do 3 sessions so we can come back to your name later. So I just gave you a framework for name. Your podcast name can just be your personal name, the Paul Fo Podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, the Tim Ferriss pod. Those 2 I just mentioned are the 2 biggest podcasts in the world. You can call your podcast by industry. Real Estate Today with Dr. Olaide. Did you see that? Network Marketing Today with whatever. I don't know. That's your industry. Combine industry and personal name. Some podcasts go by just topic. Logistics Today. And there's a podcast for every topic under the sun, from parenting to sex. Podcast is there. Everything. There's podcasts on everything. All right. So you want to choose a name that works for you. And there's your podcast name is not cast in stone. You can always change it. You did get that? But by the time you start building momentum, it's too late to change it. You get me? I cannot change my podcast again. Lie. The momentum I started building. Lie, I can't change again. You did get that? Good.
Yes.
So, Iriti, have you thought about King Bad? Have you thought about a name for your podcast?
Is this still with us?
King Bad.
I am. I haven't thought about it. Well, that's not true. I've thought about all manner of names. But you know what? None of it. First of all, I can't even remember them. So it means that if I can't remember them, nobody.
That means they don't resonate yet.
remember.
They don't resonate yet. But I like that. I like that.
But then
I like that
the
King
other thing is
David
that
thing,
I
man.
heard-
Love it.
Yes, I heard you just now saying, how you don't want to like box
Yeah.
yourself. So I wouldn't want to box myself either. But my name, it doesn't sound like Paul Fo is a very interesting sounding name for a brand.
Yeah.
You know.
So they say in London,
Travel.
is this Paul Fo? I say, yes,
I
ma'am.
know exactly.
Yes, love. Answer, I also love that they call us for you every smart, Yeah, that's supermarket. Yes, love. You want a bag?
I know.
Answer, then they say supermarket. Then they say paper bag give us for this supermarket. This Oyibo people, there's happy money. Would they go a ban or everyone then they say the nylon give us? Then you say you want a bag? How much? 10p? Oh my god, for a paper bag.
They want to discourage you from messing up with the environment.
Oh my god, I said this.
But the name is really, really like striking, and you can name it anywhere in the world. And
Yes,
now
yes,
it's
it
an
works.
international name. But
Yes.
if you go and say Ireti, it's like
No problem. Think through your name. So I give you some framework. You can use either industry name, personal name, topical name, or topical name that can add some reach. Because I don't want you to box yourself. Because let's look at it this way: it will get bigger than this. You don't want to say, "Che, nah, this name, the name will eat you somehow." When they say, "What's the name of your podcast?" Don't go that just say pop. Now, let's look at the format of your pod. There are various formats of podcasts, though. The first format is the solo format, where you are the only one talking. Hello, welcome to Potpourri. My name is Ansa Okorafor. Today, I want to talk to you about what I learned from my father growing up. I grew up in the beautiful city of Uyo. You know how your voice can be so nice on the microphone. Podcast is very powerful. Though. If your audience are connected to you, chai. I grew up in the beautiful city of Uyo with 3 daughters. I was the third among them. I had an amazing childhood growing up. I mean, I'm not coming here to tell you it was tough for me. I can't lie. That's my narrative. That's my reality. I learned a couple of things from my dad. So let's go. Let the show roll. Welcome to the Answer Podcast. Come begin talk. That's solo. Then the interview one is Hi everyone, welcome to Potpourri with Ansel Korafa, or real estate today with Dr. Laide, or the life of David with Ireti. Today, I want to talk. I have a fantastic guest in the studio today. I'm going to be interviewing a young man that grew up in a not so great environment. He had all the temptations in the world, but he refused to, succumb to those temptations. And today he just graduated from the university, because this podcast is about inspiring young people. So let's welcome Jonathan to this. Hi, Jonathan. So you interview somebody. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. And Bart, not here. So you can use an interview format.
Yes, so we're hearing.
And I will tell you the advantages of all of them very soon. Then there's a new one now that is out. It's called co-hosts. Those ones are very good as well. Co-host means you are not the only host of your podcast. So today we have 3 hot women. We've got Vivian from Dubai. We've got Ansel Korafa. We've got Ireti. Today we're talking about motherhood, being a woman today. So you are not interviewing each other. You guys are just airing your views on one. Yes, you have said it. It's like you are gisting, but the world is hearing that gist. Ireti, how many of you have had conversations with some of your friends and you feel like, wow, this thing is too deep. Other people should hear what we are saying. Have you ever been there before? Have you been there before?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
King Bath, have you been there before? Dr. Light, have you been there before? Have you been having some gist with some of your friends? You're like, what? The chemistry was amazing. You guys were jamming. Like, people should hear this thing.
Yes, for sure, definitely.
Yes, so that's a co-host. So let me give you an example of this. This is a solo podcast. This lady runs Oyinbo Mokupasan. This is one of the biggest podcasts going in Nigeria. It's called Frankly Speaking. How many of you know Nedu? You know Nedu now?
I know Nedu.
Yeah.
Wazobia.
This guy podcast, this guy podcast, it don't explode though, as you see them, so 4 of them, I see them, so they have exploded. This podcast I see, so he have exploded. Follow them on Instagram, you see.
Wow.
He have exploded. He have exploded. Make I even play one clip for you. Mona see one clip, sir. Mona see one clip. Are they come? Frankly Speaking on YouTube level. I think I should get it up first on YouTube. Frankly Speaking. Frankly Speaking podcast. All right, so this is the podcast. So let me play for my people. All right. Hey guys, keep it down. That is hustling. Keep it down. Can you hear?
It's another week and another interesting episode of Frankly Speaking, brought to you by the amazing quartet of yours truly. No, I have to be a gentleman. Daty Cole, Big Nay, Nedu Wazobia, aka Storyteller, aka Express,
Okay, senior man.
aka Senior Man.
Are you seeing the marketing going on there?
And yours truly. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to discuss something really very, very interesting.
That is an example of a co-hosting podcast. Did you see that now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now sit down comfortably. That podcast is actually currently sponsored by a big company now. So what they do is that they do content repurposing. As they are recording the podcast in the studio, there's a camera capturing it. So they have the audio version of the podcast and the video version of the podcast. Did you see what's going on there? Then they chop it up a little bit more and then they spread it on all social media platforms to titillate your senses, to say, make I go listen to the full thing. You see?
Yes.
All right. So this is an example of Frankly Speaking. This is a co-host. Then there's another one, which is, this is another big podcast. I said what I said, 2 young ladies in Lagos as well. This is a very big podcast as well right now. It's growing very, very well. They are the people that powers Tea with Tay. You know, Tea with Tay is a podcast. How many of you know that Instagram called Tosan? It's a very popular Instagrammer. He has a podcast now that is sponsored now by Lipton. That Lipton tea what they drink too. Lipton has paid for a whole year for that podcast. All right, and this is Tea with Tay. You know Tea with Tay? It's a popular Instagrammer.
Never heard of them.
Good. So this is Tea with Tay. This is the pastor of a church called Logic Church in Lagos, in Lekki there. So interviewed him. So that can be an interview podcast as well. So I want to ask you a question. Which format do you think will work for you? I think for a start, right? For a start, you can start with the solo run. For a start, you can also start with interview. So let me ask you, what do you think will work for you for a start? Before I even ask you that question first, let me even look at some of the pros and the cons of each. Now, with the solo, I mean, we're all growing our brands. Not everybody know us. It's good. You're building. You're publishing every week. You stay on the publishing schedule every week. If you interview, I give you an example. If you interview someone that's more popular than you, do you think people want to listen to that podcast? Do you think so?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So you're riding on the publicity or the popularity of that person.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that's the good thing about an interview podcast. Some of my highest downloads have been when I interviewed somebody. I interviewed Dr. Moses, a big real estate guy in the UK. Yeah, a lot of download. I interviewed them. Addis Fabric. Addis Fabric is not very, very popular, but her story was so powerful. How she wrote an ad in 2019 that is still selling. She has done over 100 million. She said she was breastfeeding her child and she was telling God, give me an idea for this ad. That's how that ad came. That story was very compelling. All right, so you can interview somebody or you can do a co-host. The logistics for co-hosting is high. You know, you have to make sure that you and the person are in the same space. That's some work. So I want to ask you, which of them do you think you can start with? Yeah?
I think I would do a solo.
Everybody should start with a solo first so that nothing is stopping you. Right? Answer, you have anything to say?
Solo, I think
there is somebody, Dr. Lady. Okay, I miss Dr. Lady now. Your background. Yeah, go ahead. Answer.
Yeah, I said I'll start with the solo.
Yes.
And, I can see how, yes.
Yeah. And then you can think about interviewing interesting people that resonate with the message you want to send out. All right. King Bath.
Yes, coach.
So how would you want to start? Solo, interview, or co-host?
I would combine both solo and interview.
Yes, that's what I do. I mean, in your space, you should have a lot of people.
The intention I have is to interact with, interview other players in my industry.
Very, very good.
Their experiences and all of that.
Very, very, very good.
And then, my industry has a lot of scam projects.
Yes.
The blockchain and cryptocurrency industry. There are a lot of fake projects out there.
Yeah.
So I want to also come from that angle of how people can identify some of those fake projects, the experiences people have had in the past, when they were scammed of their money and all of that. So we try to help other people not to get scammed and all that.
Very good. So then the next one then that you will need to do is your artwork. I'll explain that to you now, but I want to show you my artwork on Spotify so that you will see what I mean by that. This is a very practical class. Are you guys learning?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so coach.
So now you will go to Canva. I'm going to give you guys some assignment now. You see, this is called the artwork. Someone say artwork.
Artwork.
Every podcast you see, you will see this. So let me open my library on Spotify. See all the podcasts that I listen to on Spotify, right? Okay. No, let me not here, not this. Your episodes. So these are some of the podcasts I'm listening to right now. So you notice every podcast has a live has the artwork. Can you see it? Are you noticing that?
Yes.
So you can go to Canva. You can go to Canva. Are you seeing everyone has a this guy's a multi-millionaire man just teaching about YouTube. All right, so you can go to Canva and do your own. So you can come to Canva, for example, here. Can you see my Canva? Can you see Canva on the screen? Can you see it?
Coach, this is where I will have problems because I'm not techie at all.
No problem, we'll do it for you. So you can do podcast artwork.
Okay.
All right, podcast artwork. Can you just search Canva? Podcast logo. So there are different types of logos. Are you seeing there? Just get your picture and dump it in one. Did you get that? Are you seeing it? So let's say I want to change my podcast logo now. Just watch this. Let me pick one. Don't worry, guys. This is very user friendly. I
did my first reel today, Coach.
How did it feel?
I didn't even realize it would be that easy. I didn't speak, just showing my plants.
That's because you have a growth mindset. So let's say I want to change this now, right? Just come here. Boom. Just type here. Instead of Music Talk Podcast, right? Paul Fu. Podcast. Finish you. It passed like that. You don't see him? Have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
Simple like that. Download it. I'll tell you what to put it there, but just put it at the back of your mind first. Someone say artwork.
Artwork.
So it's very simple. Just go to Canva. If you go to canva.com, you can do that because you know your podcast cannot be plain. Yeah?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Answer, go ahead.
Okay, so does it help that your face should be there?
It doesn't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to put your face. You don't have to. In fact, I will advise you not to put your face yet. Just put the name of the podcast and leave it. Because you know you will change this name at some point. Take it from me, you will change it. Take it from me. You want to change it later. But just because I'm going to give you guys an assignment now. So at first, just put your name and just launch first. Did you get that?
So on the Canva, what's that? Just same podcast logo, podcast.
Yes, so
podcast cover.
So let me go to Canva again. Let me go to Canva again. All right. Danny, can you keep it down, please? Thank you. They say they need a shout for you. Oh my God. Okay, now can everybody see this now? Hey guys, can you see this?
Yes.
Come on, man, talk to me, everybody. Can you see this?
I can. Yes, I can.
So you just go to Canva and just type podcast logo. Did you see that?
Yes.
You click it, it will give you various types. So answer says we don't want to put face. Just pick anyone that you like. Let's say we come to this. Come to this. Tap this. I come to Ethic today. Ethic with answer. Did you get that? Answer, are you seeing I'm using as a case study now? Watch this.
Yeah.
So I want you to just see this so that you can just notice that I'm creating a podcast straight up. So ethic with answer. Answer. And make it smaller. Guys, are you seeing this?
Yes, sir. I am.
Any questions, please? Are you guys seeing this, please? So this woman says, I don't want my face yet, coach. You can do this. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Ethic Today with Answer. You see the podcast, this is a podcast. Very simple. Take this off. If you don't like the color, you can come and say, I'm a woman. Paul, I want some yellow. You see how it just popped now? Download it. Boom. You have an art. Did you see that? So I go to real estate today. Dr. Laide, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So let's say Dr. Laide to say, Coach, I don't want my face yet. The face will come later. Just go to this. Come to real estate today. Real estate today. All right, with maybe Dr. Olaide. Okay, have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Boom. This is your podcast, bro.
Wow.
I'm just fooling around with this. Are you seeing this?
Yes, I've seen it.
Can even put a house if I want to put a house. I come to uploads. I find what I don't put one house here. Let me look for a house here. Just look for one house here. Okay. Let me go to Pixels and pick a nice house or something. Pixels. Pexel. This is where I get quality pictures. Guys can say this later. Say house. Go to house. I'll pick one house here. Download the house. Go to Canva. Upload the house. Has it downloaded? Check. Okay, see the house here. Like, are you seeing your house?
Yeah.
Dr. Lady, they see so.
I see I'm so.
And remember, this is just the rough this in there. You put the house here. Boom. You see the house?
Yes, I see I'm.
See your podcast, man.
Wow.
Boom. Real Estate Today podcast with Dr. Lady. You don't see him?
I don't see I'm.
That's the hard work. Guys, have you seen that? Because are they given an assignment to do? Eh?
Yes.
Good. King Bat, are you there? Ireti, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. I'm happy about that. All right. Next, we move on to podcast host. This is very important. If you need to listen, now you must listen now. Now, so our podcast work is that Ireti, are you here?
Coach, I'm here. Sorry, I'm
Good.
on the phone. Sorry.
No problem. Now, how podcast work is that? Answer, please listen. Everybody listen. On. There is the podcast host, and it is all podcast directories. Watch this. When you record that your podcast in your phone or your laptop, you have an audio. Is it not so? You have recorded it in your laptop, Abby. You have to now upload that your audio in a podcast host. There are various podcast hosts in the world, but I prefer only two. You can search for others. There's Buzzsprout, there is Anchor, then there's Podbean. I will practicalize it for you to see. I used to use Anchor. Anchor is free. You won't pay anything. But I just moved to Buzzsprout. I pay Buzzsprout $12 a month. And I will tell you why. Please pay attention now. Watch this. So let us open Anchor now for you to see. See how this thing works. You will see I'm live. Let me open Anchor. All right. Are you guys learning? Are we learning?
So much.
Now this is Anchor. Can you see Anchor now? You see the Anchor, anchor.fm. Please write it down. This is a podcast host. Everybody say host.
Hosts.
Now, King Bat, Dr. Olaide Ireti, when you have recorded your podcast, you must upload it to a podcast host. It is the podcast host that will spread it to all the podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple, Google.
What is telling me?
Did they say I'm so?
Yes.
Good.
It's
Because
one
you
of the questions I was planning to ask.
because you cannot upload your podcast directly on Apple. You cannot upload it on Spotify. That you saw my podcast now on Spotify. You see my podcast here now on Spotify. The reason why you can see it on Spotify is because I have uploaded it here first.
Wow.
You dey feel am?
You don't feel am.
Now watch this. Make I open Spotify for you now. This is Spotify. This is a global platform now. The podcast is here. You see am? You dey with other people. Make I even open Apple for you. Apple Podcast. Apple Podcast. Apple Podcast. No, this one Apple even dey itself. Even dey for my this thing. So all the podcasts, my podcast is everywhere. Now watch this. Once you have recorded your podcast in your phone, right? You now come to upload. I'll tell you why I'm not using this ones. Why I'm using Buzzsprout. Let me open Buzzsprout for you to also see. Buzzsprout. What are we talking about now, please? Host or directory?
We're talking about
Host. Good.
Host. Yeah.
Can you see Buzzsprout here? Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Is that what you're seeing? Good. Now, watch me. I want to upload a new episode of my podcast. I waited for you people to see how I upload it so that you can see it. I just recorded a new episode this morning. Now, watch this. I will click upload a new episode. Have you seen that? Did you see that?
yes.
Once you have signed up, I click upload a new episode now. They say choose a file to upload. So I will choose a file here. I'm going to my laptop now. You see I'm so?
Yes.
Now I have a file, I have a folder in my laptop so that I don't forget my podcast things. I called it podcast things. So everything I record about my podcast, I keep it in this file. Watch this. You need to have that file so that your things are not scattered all over the place. Where's my folder? Okay, good. See, go podcast things now. My latest episode is on words, for example. So I tap it now. Watch this. I click open. It's loading now. Are you seeing it? 39%, blah, blah, blah. Boom, 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 boom. 100% just loaded. Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
I come here. I type. Power of language. Did you see that now? Have you seen it now?
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's called episode description. You have to describe a little bit about the episode. If I have anything to talk about it, or I just put a link. If I put my Linktree link, if I put my website link here, Instagram, that's the only link I want to put there. Just wait till you see it now. I'm coming. I want you to see how simple and how easy this thing is, so that we can all do it together. So you go to Buzzsprout description. I don't want to describe anything. Just click on the link and get full details. I just put my decent link there, or I can even just put the link here. Put the link here. This is the description. You can write about it if you want to, but I don't want to even write about anything. Then I say save podcast. I say publish immediately. Have you seen it? I click publish immediately. Boom. Just watch now. You will see now. You will see what's going on now. Boom. Congratulations. Your episode has been published. Have you seen it now?
Wow.
Now, they now say available in all directories. Let's look at what a directory is now. Watch this. See, you see the directory now. Apple, Spotify, Google. Just now. This podcast has gone all over the world. Now. So in the next 5 minutes, I will tell you to open your Spotify. You will see this my podcast there right now. Immediately, it's there. It's there. Now, this thing that I did here, I can do it in Anchor. Anchor is free. Ask me, so why did you choose the one that you're paying? Ask me.
So why
So
did
why did you choose the one you're paying?
Very good question.
Free one.
Very, very good question. I was using this free one for a long time. But you see, this free one, it doesn't give me data and information about my podcast like this one gives to me. You see this one? Huh? This one they tell me how many downloads I don't get. You see am? This one they tell me the 18 downloads. They tell me how many downloads I get. Do you know why this is important? Ask me, why is this important?
Why is it important?
The day I hit 1 million downloads, I can go and show MTN that my podcast has 1 million downloads. Come and advertise here. Oh, you see how it shows you the episodes that are doing well. Are you seeing this thing?
Yes.
I've always left my podcast here. This one has over 100 episodes. I just moved to this one newly. But with this one, I don't have data. Much data. Very small data. Spotify doesn't give me much data. Second reason why I picked this one now. This episode that I've just published, they will give you marketing material to market your episode. What do I mean by this with this one? Now with this one, if I tap this one now, right? They will tell you can add a transcript. Yes, so they can transcribe this thing for you. They can turn it into chapters for you. Are you getting it now? This one, they can create a visual soundbite. How many of you have seen those my things whereby you will see my face in the background, you see noise? Is this that will create it for you automatically? So that you can use those ones to put on all the platforms of your social media. Say, I just published a new episode. This is just a clip of it. Click here to listen to the full episode. Una dey see am?
Yes.
You dey see am so?
I know you'll probably get to that. So how do you make the money?
Of course I will, my friend, but not today.
Okay.
The money is coming, but not today. The money is coming,
That's
but not today. So that I don't want to also overwhelm you guys with too much, because this is a new area for you guys, right? If I give you too much information, you will not even do anything today. You just beg. You get me? But now,
I wanted to ask a question.
Sure, go ahead.
So if for a start I decide to use the free
No, for a start, in fact, thank you. You are a very intelligent man. For a start, I want all of you to use Anchor. All of you use Anchor.
Then,
Everybody
so
to yes. Anchor it's okay for a start, but I don't do I've done this thing for a while, so I think it's time for me to move to the professional one where I will pay money. Anchor is not bad though. Anchor is owned by Spotify. Spotify owns Anchor. Spotify bought Anchor for $100 million. Yes. Yes, it's not bad. I just feel that I want more resources because of where I want to take this thing to. So if you look at my podcast right now on Buzzsprout, I have only like 5 episodes. But on Anchor, I have over 150. But if I delete those podcasts now, you guys can't even see this. I didn't want to delete it yet. Did you see that now? Did you see that now?
Yes.
No.
So all of you will go and open an Anchor account today. In fact, open it as I'm watching you. Go to anchor.com. Just register your name first. Register your podcast. Call it any name you want. Just leave it first and come back. Wait for now.
I'm on the road though.
Okay, you can do yours when you get home. But the rest of you, please just register yours. Get that. Because if I tell you to do it after, some of you will not do it. Do it now.
If you are doing this, can you do it on a phone, or it has to be on your laptop?
No, you can do it on the phone. Anchor has an app, Seth. You can download the app and just set up your podcast. Okay. But I think it's always better in the what do you call it? In the laptop.
Are you sure you not pick something?
So in order for me to make
Sir, you have Anchor FM podcast.
It's Anchor FM podcast up. Have you set it up now?
Yeah, I'm
Coach,
just
I'm on third mainland. The signal is so poor. I
No
can
problem.
see
No-
Anchor by Spotify.
That's it. When you get home, you can do it. Okay, let's move on. Anchor, answer. Some people are on the road, so let's consider them.
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So far, have you got any question? What have you learned so far? Any questions, please? Please tell me so that we can go. Do you understand it up to this point?
Yes,
You know your format. You have an idea of your name. I'm still going to work with you guys on before the next meeting again. Now, if you've not been paying attention again, pay attention now again. You will need a microphone. When we started, we use our phone. Use a mic. You can use your phone for a start. But let me also let you know there are mics you can use with your phone. Now, there are two types of microphones. Please mark this. I didn't know this. I'm not very technical until I began to know this. There is a condenser microphone, and then there's dynamic mic. Everybody say condenser.
Condenser.
And everybody say dynamic.
Dynamic.
So good. Let me tell you the difference. A condenser microphone, right? It picks the signal of everything around it. That's why it's not good. Like this, my mic is a condenser microphone. It picks everything. If you do like this, it pick every sound. But a dynamic microphone doesn't pick everything. It only picks your voice. You see him? You see him?
Yeah.
Good.
Coach,
This is my
say
mic.
that again, please.
There's a condenser microphone. There are two types of mic to do podcasts. There's a condenser mic, then there's a dynamic microphone. All right. I will show you the two mics. Some of you that even want to place an order, I can buy it for you on my way back. I'll show you. It's on Amazon. I'll just buy it for you on Amazon. I'll give it to you when I come to Lagos this month. Good. They'll just bring it to my house. I'll bring it to you guys. I am on Amazon Prime. So on Amazon Prime, they give you your items the next day. I pay $8 for Amazon Prime. I don't wait for those plenty days. If I order now, come to my house tomorrow. All right, good. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay, good.
How much is the mic?
I will tell you the mic now. Just wait. But let me explain the mic first now. So there's condenser mic, then there's dynamic. Condenser. This is my mic. It's called the NT, the Rode NT USB mic. It is a condenser mic. It's good, but just that it picks signal every time. So if you notice me, I record my podcast in the morning when my children and my wife are all asleep. And I like my voice in the morning. I feel it's very rich, I love it in the morning. So as I walk downstairs, drink my cup of coffee, boom, I record it. Even myself, when I hear my voice in the morning, I trip. So boy, see voice. Hey, oh boy. Hey, see voice. But that morning, no. It's just good to know yourself, right? Then the dynamic mic, it doesn't pick all the sound from outside. It concentrates on your own voice. Now let me give an example. This is the most popular dynamic mic for podcasters. It's called the Audio Technica ATR 221 100X USB. This is a very, very good microphone for podcasting. Very good mic. And I checked the price today on Amazon. You can check the price yourself. It's $79 as of today. And Amazon is doing a sale right now for those of us who are on Prime. So if you want that, work it out. I can buy it for you and bring it for you in Lagos as I'm coming. Good. You can have Amazon Prime. So if I pay for it now, they'll bring it to my house tomorrow. Now watch this.
Oh, Coach, buy my own. I have sterling in cash.
Okay, fantastic. Now watch this. See this other one. The other one is the one I'm using. This is the NT USB. See this is my mic. I bought this my mic 150,000 in Lagos. If I knew what I knew today, I would have bought this mic. Answer, you see? Dr. Lady, King Bat, are you seeing it? If I knew what I knew right now, I would not have bought this mic. This is the mic I'm using. Look at the mic.
150K.
I'm telling you, I bought my 150K in Lagos. 158. This mic is
This is more expensive than the dynamic now.
way expensive. That's what I'm saying now. I say I didn't know now. Now you know. That's why they say learn from other people's experience. Not your experience is too expensive.
It looks pretty. It doesn't look pretty.
I know. That's it's expensive, man. Yo.
Coach,
Yeah.
this mic, can it also serve for YouTube video recordings?
Of course.
Purpose, yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
All right, fine.
So these are the two mics. So there's condenser. This is a condenser mic, and that is a dynamic mic. So I'm going to give you guys an assignment now. The last thing I'm talking about is your intro and your outro. This is very easy. You must have an outro. You want to sound professional from the get-go, from day one. I recorded my outro myself. I'm going to give all of you an assignment, an intro. You will go to your wardrobe tomorrow morning. You see your wardrobe where your clothes dey? And you hear me? The sound in your wardrobe where your clothes are is way better. It's better because like a studio. No say all your clothes, all your wrapper, all your shoe, they come everywhere. Chuck your head there and just talk there. You will see the quality of the sound. So you know every podcast has an intro and has an outro, is it not so? Hello everybody, welcome to the Powerful Podcast. My name is 30 seconds, 20 seconds, do an intro. In this podcast, very soon you introduce yourself. Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to Potpourri with Answer. Follow your personality. Hi everybody. Welcome to Potpourri with Answer Okorafor. I tell stories. I inspire you. Yada 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 yada. In this podcast, you're gonna have a good time today. So grab a cup of coffee, grab some tea, relax, and enjoy the conversation. That's intro. Outro. Wow. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the. Once you record it, you leave it there. You don't need to do it again. Thank you for listening to the. Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Estate Today with Dr. Olaide. I hope you enjoyed it. So that other people can hear about us, why don't you leave us a review on any podcast platform that you're listening to this right now? Share the podcast with us, and I'll see you again next week. Have a good day. Bye. Ciao. You don't finish. Did you hear this now?
Yeah.
And are they feel me?
Yes.
Now let's enter the homework. Homework number 1. All of you record your intro and you will send it to me. I'll look at it. Don't worry, your voice may sound funny. It's okay. Don't be like, oh my god, is it my voice? It's okay. You can use the early morning thing that I use, especially for the men. When you wake up in the morning, your voice is deep in the morning. Yeah? Before your family wake up. You know, so once your wife and children wake up, your life don't change until everybody sleep again. Yeah. Number 2, second assignment, register your podcast in a podcast host. Use Anchor. Everybody, Anchor. And then record a 5 minutes episode. No, don't record an episode. Just do the intro and the outro first. Is that okay?
Yes, coach.
Are we all on the same page?
Yeah.
So just to recap again, the things that we spoke about, so that they say when we recap, we will remember. All right? We said that we looked at why we want to start a podcast. All of them can be your reason. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody will judge you. All of them can be your reason. Maybe you have a strong message to share. Maybe because you just like to tell stories. Yeah, which is good. You will realize that no matter what your motive is, you can make money in it. Whether it's just to empower people, there's money in it. Next, pick a name for your podcast. We said that you can be a personal name, it can be an industry name, it can be a topical name. You choose that for yourself. Next, we said that there are three formats of podcast. There is the solo format, there is the interview, there is the co-host, and we all agree that a good way to start is for the solo, and you can combine solo and interview as you go along. Next, we said that, and this is the solo person, this is a co-host, this is another good co-host, this is a interview format. Next, we said do your own artwork. I showed you how to do it on Canva. If you have issues, please, you all have my phone number. Reach out to me on WhatsApp. We can crack that open. Podcast host. We say you have to, people must host your podcast. And I said all of us should start with Anchor. Anchor is free. And I told you the reasons why I moved mine, because I've done Anchor for a while. I just feel like it's time to move, and I decided to pay Buzzsprout. And then, what's the difference between a condenser and a dynamic mic now, everybody?
Condenser
Condenser mic
cancel
picks
noise.
every sound
Dynamic
around
cancels noise.
Good.
Why dynamic picks just the voice?
Fantastic. Focuses on your voice. Good. Because if you are using a condenser mic and you're at home recording, they will hear your children shouting upstairs. The thing will pick it. It will pick your child. It will hear your two children fighting. They will pick it. And then the dynamic is it just picks your voice. And I give you an example of a dynamic. This is not the only dynamic mic in the world though, but this is a very popular one. So you can even go to Amazon and just type dynamic mic for podcast. You will see different ones. You may even get something cheaper. Really, you can get something. If you get something cheaper, send me the link and say, Coach, I found this one that is cheaper. Maybe this is the one I want. Did you get that? Hello?
Coach, is this one? Coach, is this one I want? Audio Technica, this one.
Okay, this ATR 2001 DXP. This one is good. Just plug it to your laptop. Boom. All right. It comes with a stand and all. It's very popular. It's very on podcast platforms. It's very. This one is very popular. This is a Rode mic condenser. This is what I'm using. So that's why. So when I want to record, I'm very careful who's making noise and all that. But it's good as well. They record your intro and your outro. I didn't know I could record that until I just talk. When you record it, I will tell you how to put music in it. But first of all, record it first. All right, and then I'm giving you guys your homework. What's the homework?
Record your intro and outro.
And send it to me.
Do your podcast. Yes, and do your podcast artwork and register with the podcast.
So I'm expecting you guys to be sending me screenshots. Good. Don't do an episode. Just do an intro and outro.
That should be Anchor.
Yes, that should be Anchor. That should be Anchor. So I will only know if you are working if you are sending me screenshots, checking me out, say, Coach, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? That's the only one I know how you are working. All right, guys. Was this a good session tonight?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Of course, you will have to listen to this episode again. So I'm sending you the replay tomorrow morning.
Okay.
We've not talked about the monetization yet because there's money in it. Because me, I've already done £1,000 on adverts in my podcast since I came to the UK.
Wow.
£1,000 at 800 naira. You do the math. Only podcast too. If you like, I don't know. I won't talk am again. According to how they say in Lagos, he gets why. So that's a bill. Have a good evening, everybody. Hey, let's agree. When do we want our next session? Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday sounds good for me.
Okay, guys. Dr. King Bad, Dr. Laide Ireti, is next Wednesday good for you?
Yeah, it's good.
Anytime, Coach, it's okay.
Yes,
all right, so
next fine.
Next thing I want to you can also go and search on Amazon on condenser, on dynamic mics. You may see something slightly cheaper than this. If you really want it, send me a link. I can buy it for you. I don't mind. I'll buy it as long as it's not very heavy. I'll bring it for you because I have Amazon Prime. I'll get it the next day in my house. Boom, that's it. You get it. I'll even show you for pictures. Say your thing don't arrive. All right, guys. Have a good evening. I love you all. See you guys next
Coach.
week.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Bye. Thank you, Coach. Good night.
Yeah. I am thinking, I don't know whether you guys, it's okay with you guys. Let's not form an online group. I was just thinking that whether we have informations to share, I'll just be saying to you guys individually, so that we don't do another group.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Appreciate.
Bye-bye.